Welcome, everybody, to Tinfoil and Tequila. Tonight, we're tackling one of the oldest and most fascinating maritime conspiracies ever proposed. This theory says the Titanic never sank. Instead, White Star Line allegedly switched the Titanic with the damaged RMS Olympic to collect one of the biggest insurance payouts in history. Was it fraud? Could they really fool everyone? Or is this conspiracy built entirely on misunderstandings? Well, tonight we're going to examine every claim, every piece of evidence, and decide for ourselves. And tonight I have Jen with me. Jen, are you with me?
I am.
All
Hi.
right.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, welcome back. I know we didn't have a show last week, and that was because I was having fun at Whitewater. Yeah.
And I was grateful because I was exhausted.
Yes, exactly. But we need a break sometimes, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, we're going to explore the Titanic and actually the RMS Olympic tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're also going to talk about the Titan submersible Ocean Gate incident that took place. So that's all kind of tied into this, as well as J.P. Morgan, and of course J.P. Morgan Bank. And that all ties into the Epstein files as well. So it's going to be an interesting night tonight.
Well, everything, if you follow the trails, it all leads back to the same thing.
It does. It does. It's one big rabbit hole. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a big intertwined web, isn't it?
It sure is.
But yeah, so the official story. So we're going to start with kind of the accepted history and kind of talk a little bit about that, and kind of what people have been taught in school and stuff like that. And then we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about some other stuff. So the official story was that the Titanic was built by Harland and Wolff. It was owned by White Star Line, and it was the largest passenger ship in the world. And the sister ships were the Olympic. And then the Britannic, and then, of course, the Titanic. They were all ships. The Olympic launched first, the Titanic was second, and the Britannic was third. And then the Olympic suffered a serious collision and got damaged. So the HMS Hawk collision happened in September of 1911. The Olympic collided with the HMS Hawk. There was massive damage. The hull was torn open. The propeller shaft got bent. Several watertight compartments were damaged. That sounds familiar. Repairs were super expensive, and the Olympic was pulled from service. I cannot talk tonight. What in the world's going on?
Words are hard,
I
Larry.
know it's hard to keep that brain going, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's like my mouth wants to operate before my brain does, and this it should be the other way around. I think before I speak, but it's like I'm speaking before I think. So, but hopefully we'll get on track here. All right. So the theory begins. The claim is the White Star Line was in financial trouble. The Olympic had become super expensive to fix, and the insurance wouldn't cover enough. So the company supposedly hatched an unbelievable plan: switch the names, switch the interiors, make the Olympic look like the Titanic, sink it, collect insurance, and continue operating the real Titanic as the Olympic. Sounds crazy? Hey, let's hear the evidence.
Not so much.
Yeah, exactly. So conspiracy supporters say the Olympic never fully recovered. The whole weekend, reputation was damaged, passengers avoided it, company was losing money, insurance was insufficient, and financial motive was established. So the records indicate the Olympic was repaired and remained in service for another 24 years after the collision. That's weird how that story changed. But the Titanic and the Olympic were nearly twins. The same builders, the same dimensions, the same layout, the same engines, even many crew transferred between ships. So would it have been possible physically? Maybe. Practically? A huge challenge. But with the dock workers' notice, with the passengers' notice, and with the engineers' notice. So there are differences between the windows of the Titanic's, or the Titanic and the Olympic. So the early Olympic had 16 windows, Titanic had 14, and people are comparing the photos. Some say the Titanic appears to have Olympic's window arrangement. Others argue windows were taken during construction, and others show others show modifications before sailing. But what happened was there was a team of divers. I forget what year it was. I don't have the year, but there was a team of divers, and I watched this in a documentary. But these divers went down to explore the Titanic wreckage, and what they found was that the windows on the front of the ship were different. So the thing is that some of the windows were closer together and some were further apart, the spacing between the windows. And that was the difference between the Olympic and the Titanic, was this little bit of spacing between some of the windows on the front of the ship. I believe it was the upper, like one of the upper decks on the ship. And so basically what happened was when they went down and explored it, they're like, wait a minute, these windows don't match that of the Titanic. They match that of the Olympic. So that's when things started kind of unraveling, and they're like, wait a minute, we got to look into this. This isn't the Titanic at all. This is the Olympic. So when they started comparing the photos and stuff of what they had, when the ship was being built and all that, it clearly matched the Olympic, and it wasn't the Titanic at all. And so then, all this stuff came out, where people were talking about it. They're like, oh my gosh, it's the Olympic, it's the Titanic. Where's the Titanic at? And it's just, well, they were switched out, and a lot of conspiracy theorists, AKA truthers, have been saying that for so many years now, because that's basically what happened. And also one of the things was that the ship remained intact when it supposedly sank, but there was a survivor that survived the Titanic. I forget the lady's name. I'll have to look it up. But I want to say her name was like Ruth or something like that. But I'll have to look it up. But anyways, she passed away in like 1996, I think it was. And she said no, that the Titanic broke into two pieces. But she thought she was on the Titanic, but everybody thought they were on the Titanic. They didn't realize that they were actually on the RMS Olympic, and that they were switched out. But yeah, and what was crazy about it is that all of that damage that they reported had happened when that RMS Hawk collision happened is the same damage that is on the supposed Titanic at the bottom of the Atlantic. So I'm like, it's like, that's a little bizarre, don't you think? But yeah, I've got a couple videos I wanted to show this evening as well. So I'm going to go ahead and run through a couple of these videos here, and then we'll do some more discussion. And then I'll play some more videos after a while. But I've got 6 videos total to play for everyone tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and play the first video now. So stand by.
What if the Titanic never actually sank, and the ship at the bottom of the Atlantic is actually its sister ship, the Olympic? Before you dismiss this theory, just listen to the story. The Titanic had a nearly identical sister ship called the Olympic. And just 1 year before the Titanic set sail, the Olympic was badly damaged in a collision. According to one theory, what happened next has been hidden for over a century. The two ships were secretly switched. The damaged Olympic was disguised as the Titanic and sent on a voyage it was never supposed to return from. But then you look at who was on board: John Jacob Astor, Isidor Straus, Benjamin Guggenheim, 3 of the wealthiest men in America, and all 3 died that night. The theory claims they shared one important connection. They opposed the creation of a central banking system. Meanwhile, J.P. Morgan, whose company controlled the Titanic, was supposed to be on the voyage, but canceled his trip shortly before departure. Then, just 1 year after the disaster, the Federal Reserve Act was signed into law. But the strange details don't end there. The SS Californian was nearby when the Titanic fired distress rockets, yet help didn't arrive until hours later. The Titanic's lookouts reportedly didn't even have access to binoculars, and modern scans of the wreck have raised new questions about exactly how the ship was damaged. So maybe the real mystery isn't what sank the Titanic. Maybe it's why so many strange circumstances came together on that one night, and whether the Titanic ever sank at all.
They built a ship of death called the Titanic.
The sinking of the Titanic was a design of the Jesuit order to get rid of the opposition to the creation of a central bank in the United States.
And the men on the Titanic were opposed to a central bank. They had to die. Among those were John Jacob Astor, Isidor Straus, Benjamin Guggenheim, and a host of other millionaires who were opposed to a central bank in America. Therefore, they had to be taken out of the way, and they were on the Titanic.
The company building the ship was owned by J.P. Morgan, who was himself an agent of the Rothschilds family, the Rothschilds being the bankers for the Pope and the Vatican. The main Jesuit targets were brought on board. The captain of the ship was Edward John Smith. It appears from his actions that Captain Smith was a Jesuit coadjutor, that is, a Jesuit who has taken the oath but does not wear the robes. A coadjutor blends into the scenery and never looks like a Jesuit priest. It is a veteran sea captain, Edward Smith, who orders the ship to travel through an 80-square-mile ice field at full speed on a moonless night. There had been over 8 telegrams warning the captain of the danger.
He's warned 8 times, slow the ship down, slow the Titanic down, you're going too fast. Not once stopped. Knew there was an iceberg field up ahead, knew that he should have slowed down, but didn't. And so you look and you say, how was it that this man could go headlong into a field of icebergs and not slow the ship down, not be more careful? The only conclusion you can draw is, as a coadjutor of the Jesuit order, right through the line, the chain of command, he was told, sink the ship.
The Titanic wasn't an accident. It was a targeted hit on the indigenous Moorish nobility. Don't believe me? Go look up Joseph Philippe Lalessier La Roche, a black engineer from the Lecointe political dynasty, traveling first class during the Titanic era. The original Jacob Astor, Isidor Straus, and Guggenheim were originally all Moors. But of course, they only show you the pale version. They bleached the history to hide the Moorish tenure of the land. But the bloodline is the Grail. Why'd they do it? Because these titans were against the establishment of the League of Nations and the plan of experts designed to seize world treasuries. Look up Paul Cuff, ship owner and global merchant, before the U.S. even knew what it was. Look up Madam C.J. Walker and Aurelia Walker, controlling millions, property, factories, and social power. Look up Robert Reed Church Sr., black millionaire of the South.
You think we were just slaves off boats? Houseway, I'm showing you the receipts they hid. Black aristocrats in the Titanic era. Families with land, gold, ships, and banks. We weren't begging, we were building empires. That's why the Titanic wasn't just a tragedy, it was a targeted hit. Connect the dots. the truth ain't lost, it's been buried, and I'm here to dig it up. They love to say Joseph LaRoche was the only black man on the Titanic, but that's only because they already whitewashed the rest. The original Astors, Guggenheims, Strausses, and LeConte bloodlines were Moors long before their portraits were corrected and their history rewritten. Once America and Europe adopted the bleaching of nobility, any elite family was painted over, literally and legally. So when the Titanic sank, they could safely call LaRoche the only one, because they hid the truth of the others. The whole narrative depends on Moors being erased from high society, because if the world learns black families sat at the top of global finance, diplomacy, and science, the slave story collapses overnight. LaRoche wasn't the only one. He was just the only one they couldn't erase.
Okay, and we are back. So, hope you guys enjoyed those videos. So I played 3 of the 6 videos there, talking a little bit about the Titanic and the money and all that was involved. So I hope you guys learned a little something from those videos. So I think that they were good. So that's why I wanted to share them with everybody. So Jen, do you have anything that you want to talk about from your point of view, your aspect of this?
Well, it just seems to me like you were talking about you couldn't remember, like, I want to say it was in the mid 80s that they did the dive. It was either like late 80s, mid 80s, somewhere around there. It was like, I just can remember like talking about the Titanic then, even though I was a child. And it seems like that's when they actually discovered that. Of course, it was all whatever, but you got to remember too, a lot of this happened before the internet, before we had social media.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really just, it was harder to research things
Yes. Yeah.
than it is now.
You might be thinking of, in September of 1985, the American-French expedition by Dr. Robert Ballard of the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution and the Jean-Louis Michel of the French research organization IFREMER did an exploration of the Titanic wreck. So that might be what you're thinking of, but this one I think was a little bit more recent. I want to say it was like in the 2000s, like the early 2000s, maybe. Maybe like, I don't know, it's like 2010 or somewhere around there. Like it wasn't too long ago. But there was a team of divers that went down to explore it because, there's been so much controversy over it, and people are like, no, it's the Olympic, no, it's the Titanic, and people have been arguing about it. So they're like, okay, let's put this to rest and let's go do the exploration ourselves and look at it, and let's see what we can find to prove that it's one or the other. And that's when they took pictures and stuff of the windows and found out that the windows, these unique windows that were on the front of the ship, which I think you guys saw them on one of the videos that I just shared there. I think it was in that first video. We're talking about the windows on there, and that it matched the windows of the Olympic, not the Titanic. But one of the things too was that the yard number was stamped on the hull and the propeller, and the yard number for the RMS Olympic was 400 and the Titanic was 401. But they say that on the propeller of the ship that sank, it's stamped 401 on the propeller, which was for the Titanic. But they could have swapped propellers on the ships as well. I mean, it's nothing to
Yeah,
take out
absolutely.
bolts and pop a propeller off and stick a propeller on there, because they knew that the numbers were, were of each ship, and they're like, hey, if we're going to sink this, let's make it seem like it was the Titanic. And I mean, changing a propeller out, wouldn't be a big deal, So, but
I believe nothing they tell me.
but yeah, so but
Question everything.
but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And honestly, pun intended, this is just like the tip of the iceberg with all of that whole the reasoning behind it, all of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's deep. It's deep, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. And all the stuff that has it's like they've been trying to cover it up for so long, and it's like, why are they trying to cover up the Titanic disaster? Like, why? Like, what was so
Power, money,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
control. It all goes back to that.
And these are some of the claims. So one of the claims is that the Titanic carried less expensive furniture, but construction records don't support that. There's nothing that says that the Titanic had less expensive furniture on it. And also there was a claim that the nameplates were swapped, and that was one of the things I was just talking about, was that, the propellers were swapped, possibly on the ships. I mean, there'd be nothing
I mean, that kind of stuff would be super easy to do,
oh
like,
yeah.
and not cost a dime.
Yeah. And then, so that was one of the things. And it says the counter would be that this would require thousands of workers staying silent forever. Well, let's look at Area 51. Okay. Look at how many people. There's like thousands of people that work at Area 51. They've been keeping that secret for years. So why couldn't thousands of workers keep the Titanic secret for years?
Well, again, it goes back to people being sheep, so they do what they're told and they don't speak, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. I know personally people who do work for the government who cannot speak about it.
Right.
They
Right.
get paid a lot of money basically to be silent,
Yep.
in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to sign NDAs, your non-disclosure agreements, and get paid big bucks. Get paid the hush money. And that's kind of like, when you look at sports as well. I mean, we're gonna get a little off topic here for a second, but when you look at sports, there was just I think it was 6 different NFL players that from different teams that came forward about a year or so ago that was telling everybody that the NFL was scripted, and basically the money that they get paid is essentially hush money for keeping the secret, that the NFL scripted. And it's just like, okay. And he's like, yeah, we get a sheet, just like an actor gets their movie script. We get a script for the plays that we're going to do. It tells us, after which play and what quarter, that we're going to get injured, if we're going to get injured during that, how long we're going to be out for, but we still get paid for
As
it.
if all of that wasn't like obvious.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're like you and I, Larry, we see through all of the BS, right? Like,
Yep.
we know things.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
you can see it. I mean, it's just like WWF, like, nothing is real
Yeah. Yep.
except for, not to get religious, the truth,
Yep.
his truth.
That's exactly right. Yep. So one of the other claims too was that crew members, lots of crew members canceled the ride for the ship, and many were saying, oh, they were just canceled for normal reasons. Okay, well then what about JP Morgan canceling at the last minute? That's true. JP Morgan did cancel, but why? Business, health, did he know something? Hey, nobody really knows. But also there were several other wealthy people that were supposed to be on there, and they canceled at the last moment. So that to me is a little bit suspicious, you know?
Well, I think because they knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they had insider information and they knew what was going to happen.
Yep. Exactly.
And it was all part of a bigger plan
Yep. They were all in on the whole
that would change
scam.
the world forever.
Yep. Yep. And now look at it. You know, this whole Titanic disaster is in our history books now. And it's just something that's being taught year after year after year after year to the youth, right? The same story over and over and over again every year. And so then everybody's like, hey, the Titanic, yay, the Titanic, you know, the Titanic sank. Okay, well, because you're being spoon fed, you're being indoctrinated into this same story because they printed it in a book and everybody reads the same book all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's, I don't know. It's crazy, but.
Well, because most people walk around and they don't question anything.
Exactly. Yeah. They're
I mean, not to get off topic, but COVID actually proves that.
Oh gosh, don't get me started on COVID, Jen.
Like, that's a whole nother show, Larry, but
it is.
I'm just telling you, the people that complied, the people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In all honesty, there's less of us and more of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But we have to keep questioning. We have to keep digging. We have to keep pushing through to awake those people.
Exactly.
And I don't know what it's going to take.
And that's where I was at too. Like when the whole COVID thing hit, you know, like I knew that it was a bioweapon in the vaccine. Like in my heart, in my mind, in my soul, like I knew that. And like me and like tons of my Facebook friends started talking about it. Like, hey, it's in the vaccine. They're forcing people to get vaccinated. And then when people get vaccinated, that's when the harm is going to happen. There's no airborne, you know, illness going on. You know, that's just
it's the dang flu.
Yeah, exactly. I said,
and they were treating it in such a way that was killing people.
Yep, exactly. The whole remdesivir stuff with the, you know, the ventilators and stuff. Yeah,
that gave people hope.
Yep.
But essentially killed them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The hospitals were murdering people.
They had been treating pneumonia for how many decades, and people survived. I'm not talking about the super weak, the really elderly or young babies or whatever. I'm talking about normal people who are pretty much healthy, survived pneumonia for decades. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're dying, but it had nothing to, it was the protocol that they were using. And there's more and more people stepping out talking about that.
Yeah.
Like nurses, doctors.
Yeah, the truth is coming out, and the truth's going to continue to come out about everything, you know. So it's, you know, not only about the, you know, we've been hearing, most of the people have been hearing about Epstein files and UFOs because that's kind of what's on the table right now, you know, being talked about mostly. But, you know, there's many other things too, you know, such as the whole COVID stuff, you know, that happened. And it's just, and not just that, but, you know, even going way back to Spanish flu days, you know, all that stuff. That's
all of the stuff is, it's all
could sit here for probably for years talking about all this crazy stuff and the truth about everything.
It's, you know, the year 2050. Larry and Jen are still talking about the stuff and people still listen to.
Yeah. By that
CNN.
time we may go from like 5 listeners to maybe 15, maybe. I don't know, maybe by 2050. So I don't know. Maybe we'll gain a few more listeners over the years. But
Look,
yeah,
I'm okay with being labeled crazy. My whole family thinks I'm batshit.
hey, me
I don't
too.
care.
Me too. So
I don't care. Like,
yeah.
even my husband, and I'm like, I'm telling him things. I'm like, look,
Mm-hmm.
it's coming. It's into fruition. Like,
Here's the proof. Yeah.
can't deny it.
And then they just turn their head. They're like, "Oh, you're full of shit. Like, get out of here." And I was like, "No, I'm not. Look, no, I don't want to
I'm really
look. I don't want to
not.
look. Like, why don't you want to look? Open your damn eyes and look at it." It's like,
Yeah, like you literally want to like pry their eyes open their
yeah,
brain and be like, think for yourself
yeah, exactly,
for
exactly.
once.
That's what people have a problem with is thinking for themselves. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like everybody is a free thinker, but half the
Well,
people are just,
and and it goes back to the symbolism that they use.
mm-hmm, yeah,
That we were talking about, like getting on the subject of the Titan, right? Like the uh, Cyclops and
mm-hmm,
the Ocean Gate. Like,
yep.
why are people not watching? They don't watch. They just
Mm-hmm.
blindly go.
Yeah, and that's what. And right before the show, we were talking about that a little bit. About the Titan submersible. So, and since we're on that topic, I'm going to go ahead and talk about that a little bit. So, when you, so the Titan Ocean Gate submersible was going on an adventure to go visit the Titanic down there when they supposedly imploded down there. Okay. With supposedly was 5 people on board, including a billionaire that was on board. Well, word we hear about billionaires being on board and being lost in the ocean was the supposed Titanic, right? And I was like, how ironic is that? And how ironic that the Titan is actually the first 5 letters of Titanic. And on the side of their little craft, or whatever you want to call it, their little submarine that they were going down in, it said Titan, Ocean Gate, Cyclops on it. I'm like, okay, well, let's take a minute to break that down for a second. So, like I said, Titan, first 5 letters of Titanic, then Ocean Gate, that kind of, makes me think, okay, well, we've got a problem here with this, because that's the same as like Pizzagate, Watergate, all the other gates that are out there. And so I'm like, okay, Ocean Gate. And then we got Cyclops, thinking of one eye and thinking of like your third eye, like, hey, you need to be aware of your intuition and think for yourself kind of thing. So I'm like, it's like they were putting a bunch of stuff in your face with just the wording on the side of the little submarine, so there was a lot of stuff that was there, but people were just like blind to see it, I guess, and that was what was really weird about it. But the truth about the Titan sub was that in June of 2023, the Titan submersible was lost during a dive going down to visit the RMS Titanic, aka the RMS Olympic wreck,
Olympic.
nearly 3,800 meters below the surface. Communication was lost about an hour and 45 minutes into the descent. Investigations later confirmed that a catastrophic implosion caused by extreme deep sea pressure, and there was no verified final voice recording or distress message from inside the submarine that had ever been released. The tragedy supposedly claimed 5 lives and renewed global debates about deep sea safety and experimental submersible design. But what was weird about it was that when I first heard this story, I knew it couldn't be a real story, because you're telling me that this company that wanted to explore the Titanic wasn't smart enough to put a GPS tracker on there, to track this submarine, and also to have better communication system for deep sea
The
communications.
president talked to the man on the moon.
You're right.
and
Yeah.
and we can't
On a regular telephone.
on a
on, a, on what they call a plain old telephone service, POTS line or landline phone. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
yeah, it makes
Yeah.
no sense. When you're a deep thinker, it literally nothing. Math quit mathing a long time ago.
Yep. And what do we always say, Jen? There's no coincidences, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Ever. Ever.
Yep. No coincidences. And Q tells us that too. When you get into looking at all the Q posts and, reading about Q tells us there's no coincidences.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would say about 80% of Q has been spot on.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
And
And
we're still waiting. We're still waiting.
yeah. Well, Q tells us that they're going to reveal themselves in the end. So whoever they are, whether it's a team of people or it's an entity or it's an individual or whatever, but I think it's a person. And what was really weird, okay, one night I was watching Fox News. I was watching an episode of Jesse Waters on there, and he was doing
Mhm.
talking about something. I forget what it was, but anyways, he said something very strange to the reporter, and I caught it, and tons of my Facebook friends caught it. But he says, "Say hi to Q for me," and I'm like, "Whoa, hold on a minute.
Oh, I
What?
remember that. I
What?
remember that.
Wait a minute. What did I just hear? Like what?" I was like, "Did Jesse just say hi? Say hi to Q for me? Like Jesse knows who Q is? Like this is crazy." And so, anyways, we know that Trump is Q plus. We've figured that out. We've through the
Mhm.
deciphers and stuff over the years, as Q talks about Q and then Q plus and then
Yeah, and
all
then
that. But
he talk when he types in there's a reason why he misspells words.
yes, yes, exactly. Yep. There's like what do you want to call it? Like cryptic messages in Trump's
Yes.
post. So when Trump misspells something, we go on a deep dive looking for that missing letter through the Q post now. So
Yeah.
usually that missing letters in brackets in a Q post somewhere,
Mhm.
and we got to find out where that's at, or he might put extra letters, in a word or something. And the timestamps that when Trump sends messages, all that has to do with going back to Q post and relating to what's going on. So basically, Trump, in a roundabout way, is telling us refer back to the Q post, and the Q posts are telling us about the operations, military operations that are going on to this day. So
Right.
it's like a big puzzle, I guess, and it's a lot of fun, when you get into it and you start looking at it and trying to decipher stuff. But it's
Very
for
time consuming.
oh, it is. Yeah. I have yet to figure out the whole decipher thing. Like, I've got several Facebook friends that have it all figured out. And I'm like, hey, y'all do the deciphering thing, and I'll just read whatever
I'm
y'all
trying
deciphered.
I'm trying to get my friend Brian Newberry. Do you know him?
No, no, I don't
You
know
need to
him.
follow him. Like he's one of us. I'm trying I actually told him about this and all that, but I haven't heard back from him. He actually lives in Dalton
Oh, okay. Right by
and
me.
yeah, he's not far. But yeah, he's when the whole like we were getting shut down on Facebook for speaking truths and all that. I can't tell
Yeah.
you how many times like he was shut down, but yeah, he's into all of that. Like I follow him on Telegram.
Hmm.
That's a lot of information though.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
to be honest with you. Like I have to kind of weed through it. But yeah, it's people don't realize the depth. Like we're talking about the Titanic, and I'm sure we're going to get into JP Morgan and the Federal Reserve and all of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that's really honestly, it's just so deep. It's so deep.
Hmm.
And then you've got Jasara and Nasara that
Oh, yeah.
uh
And it's all like intertwined and it's all linked together, and it's just like, and then you get to talking about something, we're sitting here, like I said, we're going to kind of get into the whole talking about J.P. Morgan, how he backed out, and how J.P. Morgan's been under pressure for so long, and and he's been working with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and then and then you got J.P. Morgan Chase Bank that's all intertwined with the Epstein files, and it's just like, whoa, okay, like, wait a minute, like, this is way
Yeah,
over my
my
head.
suggestion is if you have a Chase account, close it immediately.
Yes.
You are supporting pedophiles. You are supporting
Yep, the deep state.
demons.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, if you have a J.P. Morgan Chase account, close it. If you got a Bank of America account, close it.
Close it. Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Any big banks, it's best to open up accounts with local community banks or credit unions. If you got a credit union that you can get into in your area, like that's the best to get into. If
North Georgia Credit Union is amazing, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so is United Community Bank. I love them.
United Community, I heard, is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They are. But all of them, if you think about it, all of them are backed by the FDIC.
Mm-hmm.
So it all leads back to the same.
Yeah. Same deep
thing.
State players. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't know of any entity out there that doesn't. If you do, please inform me but I don't. I've researched. I don't.
We need to start our own bank, called Patriot Banking Solutions or something, like that'd be awesome.
Right? Kind of like the Trump accounts.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. It's like we have nothing to do with the FDIC. We got nothing to do with the deep state. It's all run by we the people. That'd be pretty badass, wouldn't it?
Yeah. What kills me, Larry, and I'm just gonna say this is so off topic, is there's so many of us and so little of them. Why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why are we still struggling every single day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now let me be clear. I do not struggle financially. I don't. God provides every single day of my life.
That's right.
However, I see people that do, and it's so heartbreaking, and they don't have to do that because they live by the system. I don't live by the system. Look, I have traveled this world with $20 in my pocket, literally, and everything was provided for. So you have to change your mind. You have to change your mindset, right? You have to not think lack, not have a lack mentality when it comes to that. But also you have to realize that you're being controlled by the controllers.
Yeah.
Right? We're all sort of remotes, if you will.
Yep.
Or they try to make us remotes. I don't live like that. I do not live like that.
Mm-hmm. Like a puppet on a string, right?
Yeah. Right. I don't live my life like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just don't. And by the way, I'm a cash person. The only money I put in the bank is to cover bills that come out automatically. Everything else is cash or invested, whatever.
Yeah, that's good. That's the way to be. Keep on the cash thing, because we don't want to go to cashless society, and that was actually what this podcast was going to be about. But I changed it.
They can, and that's what it comes to. All of this was put into place. The Titanic was sank. The billionaires that died with the Titanic, aka Olympic, were people that were questioning the system. They knew, you can't convince me otherwise. And the people that did not, that decided not to go at the last minute for whatever reason, are the people that ended up controlling things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's all about, at the end of the day, it's control. Mind control, it's physical control. I personally know people that literally look at their bank account every single day and are like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
Why? I don't even know what my balance is in my bank account. I don't care. I
Hmm.
do not care.
Because you know you'll be taken care of. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't live my life like that.
Hmm.
Like, whatever.
Yeah. Monitoring every dollar. Yeah.
My husband does that. He literally monitors and he's got a bank account where he has to have like a huge balance in there. And I'm like, dude, why?
Yeah.
That's stupid. And he and I were older when we got married, so we've always kept our money separate, but we pay the bills together, if that makes sense.
Right. Right.
Um, but I don't live like that. I don't. I own a business.
Hmm.
I run my business properly. I do the things I'm supposed to do. Um, but I just I'm not controlled by dollars
Right. Exactly.
ever.
Yep. But yeah, so we're going to talk about a couple other little pieces of evidence, and I got a couple other videos here to share before we end here for this evening. But one of the other things too that people were talking about was that the Titanic was actually overinsured on there, but
Hmm.
historians are saying that it was actually underinsured. But that leads to interesting discussion either way. But and talking about the hull numbers and the numbers on the propeller and stuff was that the hull number on the Olympic was 400, the Titanic was 401, and people were saying that the wreck shows 400 on the hull, but the propeller says 401 on it. So that was definitely very interesting that things are not matching up on there. It's like they forgot to change some things on there. But the expansion joint is one of the most famous things that's talked about. Some photographs supposedly match the Olympic. Others don't. Experts are still debate those things, the image interpretations to this day. And then the porthole arrangement. The internet loves this one. So the zoomed in photos, the circles, the arrows, the enhancements. So what are we seeing in this evidence, or is it just pattern recognition? In there, looking at the windows, on there. So also the wreck. This is where one of the things that have become pretty difficult for conspiracy supporters that since 1985, hundreds of expeditions have examined the wreck, thousands of photographs and detailed scans. Most historians conclude that the wreck matches the Titanic as it was built, including features that were unique to the Titanic rather than the Olympic. But that's something that's been very controversial too. It's like, how do we know that these photos and stuff are not doctored photos? That they've
Well, and
taken.
if you think about it, the original photos, like you were talking about, that they took, that was really before AI.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
exactly.
not saying that you couldn't dock photos back then because you
Yeah.
could, but it took a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know. I truly believe that it was the Olympic sunk and the
Hmm.
Titanic continued to bring money.
Right.
Um, that's just my opinion
Yep.
based on the rabbit holes and the research and the information that have gotten into.
Yep. And
Um,
since we're talking about ships, Jen, I think next week we'll dive into the Philadelphia experiment. What do you think about that?
oh gosh.
How an entire Navy destroyer just disappeared.
I don't know if we can do that
I know, right? That's a
in
pretty big
one
one.
setting. It's yeah, that's
Yeah,
wow.
but yeah, another good thing. And supposedly they made the ship fly in the air too. I've heard about that. How they like made like
I saw,
anti-gravity.
yeah, I saw that. Oh, well,
Yeah.
gravity's stupid anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When we talk about gravity, it's a whole nother discussion in itself. But yeah. So, but yeah, I think that'd be a good topic to do. I don't know, maybe next week. I don't know. We'll see. See what I've got up my sleeve for discussions. But yeah,
There's just so much, Larry.
there
There's so
is. I
much.
know there's so much to talk
Like
about.
it's going to be the year like 2075, and we're still going to be
Still sharing conspiracies,
sharing
right?
conspiracies. But hey, listen, is it a conspiracy if it actually like
If it's true,
is
right?
true?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Noah was the first conspiracy theorist, right?
Exactly.
No one believed him until it started raining
Mm-hmm.
and raining and raining.
Yeah.
So
He kept saying the flood's coming, you guys prepare. And they're like, oh, no, you're just talking.
guess what? They all perished.
Yep, exactly.
They all perished.
Yep, Noah was right.
And we're right.
Yep.
Listen, I've been called so many things. I was just called
yeah.
an idiot the other day on the internet. Why? Because I believe Netanyahu is corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I was called an idiot. I said, that's all you got? Name calling? I said, you didn't call me wrong.
Uh-huh. Yep. I know.
Listen, I'll be an idiot all day long, but I will stand on what I truly believe is truth.
Yep. Exactly right. Yep. I mean, I've got my opinions. You got your opinions, so you think how you want to think, and I'm going to think how I want to think, But yeah, it's crazy though, to look at society and how many people have been indoctrinated and how many people remain under control these days and allow it to happen. And then one of the famous things, Jen, and I know that you've heard this 100,000 times, is they're like, there's nothing that I can do about it. And I'm like, that's
Every
the common
day,
thing.
every day I hear
There's nothing
that.
I can do
Like,
about it. I'm like, hello, there's many things you can do about it. You can start talking to others about it. You can write to your state senators and your Congress people. You can write to the president. Like there's tons of things you can do about it. You can go out and have speeches and talk to the public, like it's just, and start a podcast like what we're doing,
right. Do you want to be liked?
Uh-huh.
Or do you want to be known for what you stood for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so many people just don't want to piss people off.
Right. Exactly.
Like they're so afraid of, oh, well, they're going to judge me. I do not care.
Mm-hmm.
Judge me all day long, because guess what? At the end of the day, they're going to say what they want to say. They're going to do what they want to do.
Yep.
And I'm just over here, you hate me, but look, I'm living a life I feel like it's pretty damn good at the end of the day.
Amen. Amen.
Because I don't comply, because I don't do things like the masses do. I'm not a freaking sheep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm a wolf.
Yep. We stand our
ground.
Hear
me roar, I stand my ground every single day.
That's right.
Every single day. And honestly, I will be honest with you. I work with the public and I work with all faces of walks of earth. But since I decided to be discerning with who and who doesn't sit in my chair, I have been blessed. I have been blessed. Why?
Thriving.
Because I remain true to myself, true to what I believe.
That's right.
And you can't deny, I can't deny that. For years, the first 10 years of my career, I struggled. Why? Because I felt like I needed to be everything to everybody.
Yep.
And you can't.
Exactly.
So you focus in on what you're good at and you do that. And then those people come to you.
Yeah, It's like God sends them to you. It's like he's like, you open this
Yeah.
door, you do
But
as I have
it,
instructed you to
it's a
do,
ministry. At the end
and
of the day, it's a
it
ministry,
is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
and people are so unaware of their calling,
Yeah.
their
Mm-hmm.
divine whatever, so they chase the dollar. I quit chasing the dollar years ago. I don't
Oh yeah.
care. Like look, I did 2 people today that I didn't charge them a thing. Why? I felt led.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a leading,
Because you're
not
blessed
by
and
me.
now you're blessing others. Yep.
Right, right.
Exactly.
So
Pass on the blessings.
exactly. And once you live the way that we were intended to live,
Mm-hmm.
free, truly free, free,
Yep.
no
Doors
chains.
doors are open.
They do. They absolutely do.
Yeah.
And so I don't even care about JP Morgan, Chase Bank,
Mm-hmm.
Epstein files. Like,
Yep.
none of that truly, like, at the end of the day, affects me personally. To me, though, it's just about awakening other people to see the truths, to understand what that they have to unlearn everything they've ever been taught.
Exactly.
Everything.
Yep. Yep.
It's and that's what it's about. And I will just keep on keeping on.
Yep.
And
And that's exactly why I started this podcast, Jen, is exactly for that reason, to help educate the public and to bring truth and bring light to these stories, these different topics that we talk about every week. Well, maybe not every week because we did miss a week, but yeah, I wanted to help educate people because, like, a lot of the stuff that we share on here, I would say that most of society hasn't, probably most of them haven't even heard about some of the stuff that we're talking about. And the ones that have heard about it haven't heard the truth about it. They've heard the indoctrination side of things. And that's why we want to give another viewpoint on it, another side to it, and help expand people's thinking and help get them to start questioning everything, and that's what this podcast is about questioning everything, because you have to question everything in your life. And when I say everything, I mean everything, because
absolutely
it's
everything
it's crazy. It's entirely crazy.
is.
I mean,
And I
if
think that there's two skills you need in this two skills you need in this world. Number one is you need to be able to read.
yes,
And number two, you need to be able to add, subtract, like math needs to be something that you can do.
mm-hmm, yep.
Everything else,
Hey, don't
if you
forget.
can read and you can add and you can do the math, you don't need no other skill.
Hold on, you do need one more, Jen. One more skill.
What's that?
That's discernment.
Discernment, but that is God given, Larry. That is God given, and everybody has it. It's just whether or not they're willing to
Exactly.
be open to it,
Yeah.
right?
Just like
Because we're
common
all
sense.
given that gift. We're all children of the Father, children of God. We are all given discernment.
Yeah. And what about common sense, Jen? So, we
Well,
were
if
all
you
given
can
common
read and you know
sense, but
math, you should have some common sense.
well, half of society doesn't have common sense. What are you talking about?
Well, that's where discernment comes in too, because they can't discern what's.
Exactly.
I mean, well, and they no longer teach like logistics in school. Like
Right. Yeah.
logics I feel like is God given too, because you either think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be 50 in January, and like, I don't know. I just feel like I've been blessed my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like the roads I've been down, the things I've seen, the things I've done.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you because I mean it's just and and I think you've got probably the same gift that I've got is to be able to take negative energies and turn them into positive energy, and just pump it right back out. So if you're somebody sitting there just giving you a line of BS and giving you all this negativity, you could just like take it and absorb it and turn it right back into something nice and positive and pump it right back out to them, and they hate it. They
They
absolutely
do.
hate it.
You know why? Because it's demonic.
Uh-huh.
The
Exactly.
light, the darkness hates the light.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
it does, and I'm dealing with that with family members right now,
Yep.
and
Same here.
it's like it's
Family, friends. Yep. You name it. Coworkers. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. It's just it's crazy to see just how like and I've said this for a while now. Like I've been like seriously thinking about this like so deep that I think that in 2016 when Trump first became president that we actually entered World War III like
no,
when
absolutely,
Trump first came. But you see, it's
absolutely,
not the typical war like you think that it is.
like bombing each
It's
other.
a
It's
spiritual war,
it's a
spiritual
spiritual
warfare.
warfare,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. And
Because and people hate me when I say this, but I will say it and say it over and over again. He was divine intervention.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Just like just like God used David, Moses,
Yep.
God is using Trump. Now, the problem is that Trump still has free will.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's things that he does and he says and all of that. And it's like, just shut up, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind
Um,
of a love-hate
because
relationship.
well, a little bit only because like it's like you're doing something great, but you're saying something stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I have many friends who have left the Trump train.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, I'm going to ride it out because I know at the end of the day that it's all things work for the good for those who love the Lord and are called to his purpose. It
Right.
tells us that in Romans. Um, so I know
Absolutely.
that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's just getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't jumped the train,
I know. It seems
but I
like
know many people that have, that were
yeah, it seems like it's
all about Trump.
taken forever. And I'm like, can't we
No,
just
that's just it. And people are impatient.
Yep.
Like, I trust the process. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I read a thing.
my life really hasn't changed.
No. No,
Yeah, I mean, I'm paying more for groceries and gas is a little higher, but
mm-hmm.
I'm still doing everything I was doing before.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. I haven't really changed any of my way I do things. I mean, yeah, like you said, things became more expensive, on there, but I mean, it hasn't caused me to really do anything different, so to speak. But
No, we still eat out 5 nights a week.
yeah,
I mean, we went shopping this weekend for the kids' back to school stuff. Let me tell you something. People who say the economy is crapped out, go shopping.
yep,
You can't. It's wall to wall people, cars everywhere.
mm-hmm.
People are spending money,
Oh yeah,
and I'm talking about just everyday people. I'm not no millionaire. I'm not no billionaire. But people are spending. So I mean,
yep, they sure are. They're spending just as much money now as they were, 20 years ago.
20 years ago, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably spending a little more money because there is inflation,
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
but they're also making more money,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like my husband's making more money than he's made in the same career than he made 5 years ago, right? Like,
Yeah.
so um, it all equals out at the end of the day when you are not controlled by what you hear, what they're telling you to think, do, see, all of that. When you're not controlled, like, you're truly in freedom,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Yep.
So the
Exactly.
Titanic did not sink, it was the Olympic.
Yep. The
And then what
RMS Olympic.
happened a year later?
So that was when the Federal Reserve was created the next year.
And so why was the Federal Reserve created?
So, yeah, so the Federal Reserve was created to control everybody and control everybody's money.
Money.
Yep,
Yep.
it's all about the money. Yep, exactly. And to this day, the Federal Reserve is still going strong. But supposedly we have Nasara and Jasara coming that's going to be
Sorry.
destroying the Federal Reserve. And it's going to be our new financial system. And I do know for a fact that this is being implemented because I do have some friends that are in the banking industry. And it was by April of last year, all banks had to be Basel 3 and Basel 4 compliant, which has to do with the new financial system that's being integrated. And all the banks had to upgrade all their systems and their processes and things like that to get compliant with this new financial system. And I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last few years, I'd say the last probably about 5 years, I would say, a lot of banks had closed their doors over the last few years, and that's because they couldn't become compliant with the Basel 3 and Basel 4 financial system that's being integrated. They just didn't want to upgrade their technologies. They didn't want to change their processes and stuff. So therefore, they were forced to close their doors because they were deep state controlled. They weren't changing. So they had to shut down. But those that did change were allowed to continue to operate. But you're seeing a lot of the changes of Nasara being implemented, such as the destruction of the IRS. So the IRS is now the Department of Treasury on there. And a lot of people think that you have to pay in and deal with the IRS, but you don't. And I've actually, this will be my first year that I'm not doing that. That I'm not filing tax returns and doing all that garbage. So I've finally jumped on that bandwagon. But so we'll see.
Haven't gotten there yet, but we were thinking about starting next year.
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't. Done my.
I'm
No.
self-employed,
But yeah.
so it'd be easy for me. But my husband actually works where he gets a W-2.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, literally. So we owe the IRS from 2022. We've yet to pay it.
Mm-hmm. Have they come knocking on your door yet?
No.
Exactly.
No, we get a letter like once a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just saying, hey, we want some money. Yeah.
Like, kiss my ass.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go bark up another tree. You're not, no.
Yep. Exactly. And that's where it's at, and when a couple of years ago, remember when they had supposedly all those armed IRS agents that were going to people's houses and stuff on there, and
I would love for them to show up at my house.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, let them come to my house, like.
No.
Like, since when are IRS agents armed, anyways? Like what? Like, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, it's just there's just so much that we could just talk about for days, and just one thing leads to another, to another, to another.
Because it's all connected.
It
Like,
is.
it is all connected, and at the end of the day, it's all about control. Control.
Yep.
I mean, Walmart during COVID put in those cameras. So every aisle you go down, like you hear the ding. I never look up at them ever. And I
Mm-hmm.
tell my kids, do not look at the cameras.
Yep. Exactly.
Don't.
Facial recognition.
Facial recognition,
Yep.
control.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
There was a movie
Which
that.
I rarely go into Walmart, but when I do, I'm like, y'all don't be looking up.
Yeah. Wasn't there a movie called Don't Look Up or something like that?
Maybe.
Or maybe it was called Look Up. I don't know. But yeah. But anyways,
Yeah,
they used to
there was
say it's
something like
like
that.
keep your head down, keep your hat down. I
Oh, wait.
yeah.
What was the movie with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah, it was called.
God, what was that,
Yeah,
like
I was right.
Birdcage or
Yeah, it was
something?
Don't Look Up, and it had Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, Birdcage. Yeah, it was a pretty good movie. Yeah, that one was.
So that's the other thing. That's a whole nother. Movies are not fiction.
Yeah, I know that was a comedy movie. Yeah, I don't think it was Birdcage. That was with Robin Williams in
No,
it.
there was the movie was like where they had to wear a blindfold. They had to like live their life blindfolded and like go through life not
Oh,
because if
yeah,
they looked into if
that was Bird Box. Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Yeah,
Okay, I knew it
Bird
was
Box.
bird something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I found
I
it.
was like, you people, like, are
Uh,
y'all watching this and like seeing they want people to blindly live their lives?
mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. They want you to
I mean,
just.
there was the scene where she's on the river and she couldn't see, so she had to go by like the sound and
Mm-hmm.
like, come on.
Yeah,
It's so deep. It's so deep.
it is, and it's just, and it just, it's just like they're putting it in your face, and there's a lot of truth in lots of movies too, and they just like put it in your face, and it's just like showing you, it's like, hey, it's all about control. If you could just live your life blindly and just turn a blind eye to everything, like it'll be all right. Well, yeah, it's going to be all right because you're letting them control you, and that's what it's all about. That's what they want you to do. But when your eyes are open and those who have eyes can
And
see,
you
and
walk
those
by
with,
the actual truth.
mm-hmm. Yeah, what does the Bible say? It's like those with eyes can see and ears can hear or something. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like hello, like it tells us, open your eyes, open your ears, you know, but yeah, that's crazy, but yeah, so
And,
I guess
and
we're
now, and now that like you have so much, with social media and AI and all of that, like it's really easy to get caught up in
mm-hmm.
that. Like
Yep,
that's where discernment comes in.
exactly. Well, I've got a couple other videos I want to share here real quick, Jen. I've got 2 3-minute videos and then a 5-minute video that I want to share. And I know we're kind of running over here on the show, but we've had great discussion and this is great, and I don't care about running the show over and running late. And heck, I'd turn into a 2 3 4 hour episode if I could. But
Right.
I know our listeners probably don't want to stay up too late because a lot of people I'm sure have to work tomorrow, like me.
Like me.
Yeah, exactly. But let me go ahead and play these couple other videos here that I have for everybody, and we'll take a little break while these videos are playing here. So
Okay.
here we go.
What is it?
This is why the Titanic never really sank. In 1898, a man named Morgan Robertson wrote The Wreck of the Titan. The book is about a massive luxury liner deemed unsinkable that was going too fast in the North Atlantic, hit an iceberg, and sank. Wait a second. The month it sank was April, and almost all the passengers died due to lack of lifeboats. Sound oddly familiar? Almost 14 years after Robertson published that book, the Titanic would sink. In April, after hitting an iceberg, and most would die due to lack of lifeboats. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, just 2 years after the Titanic sank, the author of Wreck of the Titan would die from poisoning. On top of that, Morgan would establish the Federal Reserve Bank just a year later. Because all 3 of his competitors died on the Titanic. He was supposed to be on it, but canceled at the last minute, along with his friend Milton Hershey, who would later form the Hershey Empire. Oh, don't worry, there's more. Alright, so in the early 1900s, JP Morgan was part of the British White Star Line Company. They built cruise liners, but back then the competition was stiff. Their main rival, the Cunard Steamship Company, another British corporation. At the time, they held the record for the world's largest passenger ship. So JP Morgan and the British White Star Line Company were losing the battle. As a result, they would enter into the giant ship war and built what the White Star Line would call the Olympic-class ships. The Olympic was built first and was considered the lead of the 3. They also had the Titanic and the Britannic. But on just its 5th voyage, the captain would make a wrong turn, hitting a British military ship. The massive ship would barely limp back to shore. Then, at a later trial, it was deemed the White Star Line was responsible for the incident. This would result in economic disaster for JP Morgan. Not only was he getting no insurance check, he had to pay for repairs and was sued. So what would he do? Take the newly built second ship, the Titanic, and switch it with the Olympic after repainting both ships. Then intentionally sink the Olympic, but make it look like to everybody that the Titanic sank, when in all actuality, it was brand new, sitting comfortably in the bay. Insurance fraud 101, fam. Oh, and by the way, this was all confirmed by an elderly gentleman on his deathbed. He was quoted as saying, "The Olympic, not the Titanic, sank that day." But he didn't say anything in order to protect him and his family. So JP Morgan would intentionally sink the ship, which was the Olympic, not the Titanic, so he could collect insurance money and eliminate opposition to the Federal Reserve Bank. The competition being Jacob Astor, the richest man in the world at the time, and he was a longtime friend of Nikola Tesla. JP Morgan backed Thomas Edison, Isa Strauss, and Benjamin Guggenheim, who were all opposers of a Federal Reserve Bank. I gotta say, that's an elaborate scheme, fam. But it's plausible, and honestly, I believe it. JP Morgan would go on to earn the title of the richest man in the world, and back the US in the Industrial Revolution.
So scary. What if I told you the Titanic never actually hit an iceberg, and it also didn't even sink? We're talking about the OG Titanic here from 1912, and before you dismiss this as some crazy nonsense, just have a listen to the story here. Do you know that the Titanic belonged to J.P. Morgan, and as we know, he was the founder of the biggest bank in America, J.P. Morgan Chase. And he didn't have just one ship, he had 2. Well, he probably had a lot more, but he had the Titanic along with another one called the Olympic. So the Olympic wasn't that great. It was old and rusty and broken down and had been in an accident just a year before. And the Olympic wasn't insured, but the Titanic was, so J.P. Morgan saw an opportunity here. The theory claims that he switched the names and the colors of the 2 ships. That he literally went up to the rickety-ass Olympic ship and he slapped the Titanic name and colors on it. today's inflation rate, that would be a little over $12,000. So it's safe to say that the people on this boat were pretty well off. And among those people, we had John Astor, Isidore Strauss, and Benjamin Guggenheim, all of whom were very wealthy business competitors of J.P. Morgan. And unfortunately, none of them survived this journey. Now, of course, J.P. Morgan should be on this trip too, because he funded the entire construction of the Titanic. So surely he want to go on a ride for something he spent millions of dollars on. Allegedly, right before it set sail, he cancels the trip on his own ship that he spent millions of dollars on, along with a few friends of his. A group of extremely wealthy people who all happen to support the creation of a central Federal Reserve Bank, meaning one place would print and control all the money. All of these people were scheduled to set sail on the Titanic, and they all backed out last second. Now remember those three businessmen from before: John Astor, Isidore Strauss, and Benjamin Guggenheim. Well, they happen to oppose the creation of a central bank. And guess what happens in 1913? Just a year after the three of them passed away in the sinking of the Titanic ship, the Federal Reserve Act is signed into law, exactly what the three of them opposed, and what the other men who canceled their trip supported. And hey, it gets even crazier. Recent 3D scans of the sunken wreckage allows us to view the ship as if all the water had been drained from it. And it shows us something. The Titanic's caused a 120-meter breach in its double reinforced steel hull. But upon investigating these 3D scans, there was no 120-meter breach, but rather many smaller holes ranging from 1 to 50 centimeters, which by their shape were said to have been caused by internal explosions. Then the SS California and another ship just 40 miles away from the Titanic at the time it hit the iceberg, infamously known as the ship that watched the Titanic sink, saw the distress rockets being fired off by the crew of the Titanic. But if for some reason it took over 6 hours to even start making their way towards them for help, and it was even said that the captain of the Titanic ship decided to change course at the very last minute, just before the incident happened. This sounds very suspicious, but please remember that this is all just a theory.
All right, guys, and we are back live with you again. So we hope you like those videos that we shared with you here this evening. And we had another 5-minute video, but we're going to leave it off for tonight. So I know it's getting kind of late, and I know a lot of you are ready to get out of here. You've heard enough about the Titanic and the Olympic tonight. So, so anyways, we're going to wrap up the show tonight. And yeah, I want to thank Jen for your time, for showing up and being here with us again tonight, Jen. Thank you so much, and greatly appreciate
Thanks
the
for
great
having
discussion. Absolutely, absolutely. And look forward to having you next week. And it's, you know, we've been talking about a couple things, so we're, you know, thinking of maybe.
You're muted.
Nope. I'm muted. No, I'm good.
Where'd you go?
I'm still here. Technical difficulties, I guess, on Jen's side. I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, just we've had a great show tonight. You know, we're having a you know, next week we might be talking about the Philadelphia experiment. We might be talking about time travel. Not sure yet. It's still up in the air what we're going to talk about. But either way, it's going to be really good. So, Jen, can you hear us yet? Can you hear me? Jen, can you hear us yet? Nope, I think we lost Jen. All right. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys all so much for visiting us tonight here at Tinfoil and Tequila. We greatly appreciate you guys tuning in to listen. It's been great having you guys wherever you're listening from. We hope that you'll join us again next week for our show. The topic, I have yet to figure it out. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. So, but I can tell you it's going to be really good, though, regardless, whatever it may be. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening live on Rumble or on Twitch, we greatly appreciate you. And for those of you that listen on Spotify and YouTube, this will be uploaded in the next 24 hours so that our YouTube and Spotify listeners can listen to the show. So anyways, thank you guys all so much. I love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.